What if the war you're watching isn't the real war? What if global powers are already positioning and we just don't see it yet? Every conflict begins long before the first shot is fired. It begins with belief. The tension between Israel and Palestine did not appear suddenly in 2023, but has roots stretching back decades, even generations. History does not disappear. After 1948, wars between Israel and neighboring Arab states reshaped borders and identities. Power shifts quietly before it shifts loudly. In 1979, Iran's revolution transformed the country's foreign policy, placing opposition to Israel at the center of its regional identity. Not all wars are fought directly. Iran began supporting groups like Hezbollah and later Hamas, building influence without open invasion. Then came a day that changed the tempo. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a large attack inside Israel, triggering a full-scale military response in Gaza. Wars rarely stay where they begin. After Gaza ignited, pressure did not remain contained within its borders. A second front is never announced, it emerges. Hezbollah, positioned in southern Lebanon, began increasing exchanges with Israel, raising fears of a broader confrontation. Meanwhile, the sea grew restless. Attacks on shipping routes in the Red Sea began disrupting global trade, drawing international attention and military presence. The United States does not move lightly. As regional tensions expanded, American forces reinforced positions, aiming to deter escalation but preparing for retaliation if necessary. And behind every front, another shadow forms. Iran's role in the counter-swing prestias, it was layered. There is a moment in every conflict when deterrence begins to fail. When missiles move beyond proxies and cross borders directly, calculations change. Retaliation is not emotional, it is strategic. When direct strikes occur between states, alliances begin reviewing commitments. Global markets react before governments speak. Oil routes near the Strait of Hormuz hold economic leverage that can ripple across continents within hours. Fear does not spread loudly, it spreads quietly through capitals. Diplomatic channels intensify when embassies and military bases become potential targets. Then comes the question no leader wants to answer publicly. She explains that when multiple fronts ignite simultaneously, analysts begin using a phrase once reserved for history safarger. Escalation does not always announce itself. Sometimes it shifts in language first. When leaders begin speaking in absolutes, retaliation, red lines, no restraint, diplomacy begins losing oxygen. Red lines are fragile things. When one state believes its survival is threatened, restraint becomes secondary to preemption. The problem with multi-front tension is timing. When northern borders flare, southern operations intensify, and maritime routes destabilize at once, military planners shift from response to contingency stacking. Alliances are quiet until they are activated. When defense treaties are reviewed behind closed doors, escalation becomes less theoretical. And then there is the threshold no one names. When nuclear capability is mentioned, even indirectly, global anxiety rises exponentially. When regional wars begin touching global interests, distance disappears. Energy routes through the Middle East power economies far beyond the region. These choke points are the arteries of our interconnected world. Financial markets do not wait for peace. Currency shifts, oil prices, and shipping insurance rates react within N hours of escalation signals. Then comes the question of alliances. When NATO members, regional coalitions, and global powers begin issuing coordinated statements, alignment patterns become visible. China watches differently. Global superpowers evaluate instability not emotionally but strategically, calculating leverage, trade corridors, and diplomatic positioning. Russia calculates in parallel. Ongoing conflicts elsewhere reshape how Moscow interprets any new escalation involving the United States. Multiple theaters stretch military attention. When forces are deployed across continents, supply chains and readiness cycles become vulnerable. The risk is not always immediate explosion. Sometimes it is miscalculation. Crowded airspace, naval proximity, and overlapping patrol zones increase the chance of accidental engagement. Escalation can also be cyber. Modern warfare extends beyond borders into infrastructure, communication systems, and financial networks. Public opinion has become another battlefield in global affairs. When populations polarize, leaders feel pressure to appear strong rather than restrained. We see this in mass protests and polarized televised debates. And still, no formal declaration of world war exists. Global war is defined by structured alliance activation across multiple continents. The structure is not fully formed, but the pressure is undeniable. World wars are not accidents, they are sequences. Global conflict requires alignment, military, economic, ideological. Without that alignment, escalation remains contained. So what would make this different? Simultaneous activation of major powers in direct combat, not through proxies, but openly, would mark a structural shift. Right now, most actions remain calculated. Deterrence is still functioning, strained but intact. States respond but stop short of total mobilization. But history teaches something uncomfortable. Hennerder's gaze deepens. She explains that large wars often begin when leaders believe escalation can be controlled. So is this World War III? It is not yet a declared global war. It is a convergence of pressures, alliances, and rivalries that could reshape international awareness and war worlds, but whether the world can prevent one. Comment below if you'd like a full, detailed video. Let us know which topic you want a documentary and in-depth truth about. And don't forget to subscribe for more of the latest current affairs.